It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 hey. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day.
Some of the most ancient lands on the planet. A region full of rich culture and stories from thousands of years ago. The Murchison GeoRegion is Western Australia's own. Thanks for joining us as we get ready to take you on another adventure through the best of WA. Today we're starting 600 k's north of Perth in Yalgoo, then travelling to Mount Magnet and Kew and rounding out our trip in Meekatharra. Ancient lands, brilliant skies. This is the Murchison GeoRegion. The West Aussie Outback is as true an Australian experience as you will ever get. And Yalgoo is fondly recognised as the start of the Outback. They discovered gold on these lands in the early 1890s. And nowadays, this small rural community is a stopover for many a traveller heading north, south, east or west. The town of Yalgoo is surrounded by station country, some of the biggest in Australia in fact.
Thundalara is part of the Carrara Rangeland Park. Originally it was a station. It's based about 80 kilometres just south of Yalgoo. Thundalara itself, the pastoral history, starts in the late 1800s and then it was right up until 2007, a working station. In that time, it's had a couple of different owners.
It's really impressive inside here in the shearing shed. Was it a big pastoral lease?
It was quite large. It was about 1,500 head of sheep, and the most capacity they've run is about 15,000 through these doors here.
And so cool, it's still fully operational if you wanted it to be.
Oh, exactly. We have destocked, obviously being a park now, but yeah, the motor's still ready to go and all the shearing equipment is still here for people to see.
So what's Thundalara all about today?
Well, Thundalara has obviously changed from the pastoral side of things into the conservation park. So within the park, we manage the park with the traditional owners, the Buddy Myer people. It's through this joint management that we manage the biodiversity of the park as well as visitation to the Murchison region. Well, this is the old shearers' quarters here. This would have been the dining room. This building was built in about 1916 when the shearing shed was built as well. The Morrisseys redid it in about 1970, put a bit of maintenance into the place, and then Department of Parks and Wildlife, we put the finishing touches on and now we've opened it up for accommodation for tourists to come through.
And what do visitors love about coming here?
What's not to love? When you're out here and you just get that remoteness, that feeling that you are the only ones out here, almost pioneers in the area. You've got the big sky, you've got your fire at night, your stars at night obviously, and it gives you that ability to disconnect and just to reconnect with country as well.
We're moving on to one of the region's oldest homesteads, one which has historic significance for its role in the development of this region's pastoral history.
We're out here on Barnong Station. Alicia, you've been in this area since you were 4, but your family history goes back way past that with your dad. He used to work here.
Yeah, he used to stay with his older brother, used to be out here, and his family, so he pretty much grew up out here. He used to work as, like whatever he got told to do. There wasn't just my family out here or my dad, and there was other families from town as well that was employed out here. This was the main homestead, so the owners used to reside here. When we was kids, we wasn't allowed to hear, so we had to be out or up that end of the station. Or you got the houses where the employees used to live. So the pink house, my uncle used to live in that with his family, and my dad used to live with him when he was 14. Then you got the other little tin house that used to be the kitchen where the cook used to cook for the shearers, and then you got the shearing quarters and then the old shearing shed.
Awesome. And what do you use it for nowadays?
We like to come out here and camp. Weekends out, days out, you know, just sitting around and enjoying the bush life and scenery, especially wildflower season when this hill is just covered with pink, yellow and white flowers.
Stunning.
Oh, nothing beats being out bush.
So that was Yalgoo, the very first stop of our Murchison GeoRegion road trip. After this very short break, we're taking off to Mount Magnet.
It's a beautiful day.
Mount Magnet is just over an hour from Yalgoo, around 560 k's from Perth, with the Shire taking in almost 14,000 square kilometres. Now, Mount Magnet. It has a colourful history, and I mean that in a good way. Mining has played a key role in the growth of this town over many years, and it's still going strong today. Beautiful historic buildings still line the streets, and this place just has a really nice feel about it. Everything, and I mean everything about Mount Magnet's history can be found at the Mining and Pastoral Museum, which is recognised Australia-wide as one of the best displays going around.
Mount Magnet Museum, how can I help you?
The hard work done over 30 years by the local historical society is just outstanding. It's been beautifully restored. Take a drive or walk through town and you'll see the magnificent works of local artists, with their artwork showcasing the history and the many stories of this region.
How long have you been painting for now, Annie?
I started 15 years ago here. The manager said, "Can you come on down? You might be able to do painting down there." I said, "Well, we can't even paint. We don't even know nothing about painting." Anyway, we had a go. We started off not the best, but then we gradually over the years we improved ourselves.
Lots and lots of beautiful nature in your paintings, Annie. What is that inspired by?
I think memories just go back, you know, around country and Mount Magnet where we used to go all the time.
Which is your favourite painting that you've ever done?
I think that one up there to my left is about my husband, where he born at Wadji Station. Not at the station, but a few kilometres away from the station. The green spots, that represent the salt bush, and the little brown spots down the bottom, that represent the gravel or the rock.
Annie, what would you say to someone who's never done art before?
I always say, come in and have a go. If there's no such thing as you can't do it, you know, because you can. So come along.
The country out here is just magnificent, and a 37-kilometre self-drive trail, I'm lucky to be getting some local inside knowledge today, is a great way to explore the nearby attractions that have shaped this part of the Murchison.
Raymond, what's this spot?
It's a granite area here. A lot of people comes out on this area and have picnics.
And what's significant about this land?
Well, the parents, they were born around this area on stations. Make me feel good out here because I think a lot of the ones that have been growing up, I think they come out here and walk around and talk about things, you know, that the old people probably told them.
It must be so stunning here at night.
We used to come out here, see the old people out here. When it's raining, you come out and you see this sparkling like lights, you know, coming out of the rocks, from the water running on top of the rocks. Yeah, I grew up in this place and I love the place. A lot of the people love it, night and day.
Karen, what is this amazing place?
This is the amphitheatre, so it's one of the region's geo sites, and it's also on the Mount Magnet Tourist Drive Trail, and it's been a place where local people have been coming since time began, really, since people were here. There were a lot of caverns around here and a lot of food source, so the Buttermire people would surely have been here. And since the gold settlement began at Mount Magnet, it was a very early popular place for people to come out and picnic, and people come out for astrophotography. So it just continues to be just one of these amazing landscapes. And really, you know, I've been here so many times, and every time I arrive, it's still fantastic. You just never get tired of it. It's just fantastic, beautiful place.
Stay with us. We'll be back real soon as our Murchison GeoRegion road trip takes us further north.
It's a beautiful day.
Just under an hour north of Magnet, and you reach the Queen of the Murchison, also known as Kew. Grand heritage buildings from the gold rush days of the late 1800s still serve a purpose today. Beautifully restored and looked after, adding to the charm of this outback town. And if you happen to be here in August and September, you'll be treated to a beautiful display of wildflowers. The ghost town of Big Bell, located just shy of 30 k's out of Kew, was its own mining town in the 1930s, with 1,000 people living here back in its heyday. Its hotel apparently having the longest bar in Australia.
Gold mining continues to play an important role in and around Kew today. I mean, wherever you look, you can still see the character and the history of where it all started here. And the Shire have done a beautiful job restoring this town, really keeping hold of the stories that are so important to this part of the Murchison.
Austin Street, Kew's main street, is recognised by the National Trust. And rightly so. The old buildings still in place and in fantastic condition give a true reminder of the town's gold mining landscape. It's also where Michael Fitzgerald made the first discovery of gold.
Map ready, app ready, walking shoes are on, and we're on the Kew Heritage Trail, a 2.7 kilometre stroll through town with 13 historic sites that showcase where Kew has come from. Okay, let's do it.
The walk retraces the town's origins and development over the years, and highlights how important a role it played in the early gold mining industry.
Built in 1904, this Victorian-style rotunda is located on the site of an old well, which was rumoured to have started a typhoid epidemic. Now today, it is the centrepiece as you drive through town, and for many years, bands played here on the weekends for late-night shopping hours.
Where the local Kew Shire Council now calls home was originally the offices of the London and Western Australian Investment Company, when it was constructed in 1895, before later being known as the Murchison Club in the early 1900s. Now located in the local tourist park, the old jail was the town's lockup until 1914. And the nearby mining huts, purchased from the Big Bell mine in the mid-1950s, were made available to former miners when they became pensioners.
WA's first Premier, Sir John Forrest, first promised Kew its very own railway station in 1894, but it wasn't until 1898 that it came to fruition. The railway line then closed in 1978, and the railway station restored a decade later, and again just recently.
On the corner of Robinson and Dowley Streets is Masonic Lodge, a standout work of old architecture, built in 1899.
This lodge has truly stood the test of time, made of timber and galvanised iron, and regular meetings were held here from its opening until 1979. And as you can imagine, there aren't many buildings like this left in Australia. It's truly a magnificent piece of architecture.
Australia's second largest monolith after Uluru, and a site of deep cultural and spiritual significance to the local Wajari Yamaji people, Walga Rock is just under 50 k's out of Kew. 5 kilometres in diameter and 1.5 k's in length, covering around 50 hectares, Walga Rock is a Monzo granite that eroded into parts some 2.6 billion years ago.
This Aboriginal art is the largest gallery of hand paintings in the Murchison, believed to be some 9,000 years old. And it was in this area that it became a meeting place for Aboriginal people to come to from all over Australia to seek shelter with these rock overhangs from the rains and the heat. Can you imagine the stories behind this artwork? Just amazing.
Hundreds of images are spread over the cave-like shelters, with one in particular that has been baffling people for years.
Now, this artwork of a sailing ship seems a little out of place, seeing as we are 300k from the coast, and it's spawned many different theories of its origins over many years.
Back on the open road, next destination, Meekatharra.
It's a beautiful day.
A town with golden prospects. That's what they say about Meekatharra. So we're about halfway between Perth and Port Hedland, and Meeka, as it's known locally, is the largest town in the Murchison. The gold mining riches of yesteryear have left a rich legacy for the town and the surrounding region. And today, we're getting amongst the local community to find out why this area of WA is so popular with visitors to the region. A walk down the main street of Meeka and you'll see the old historic buildings that still serve a purpose today. Yes, this place has loads of history from its boom mining days. Just out of town is one of the most stunning spots on the Murchison GeoRegion trail. Peace Gorge was once called the Devil's Playground, going back to World War I days. Nowadays, it's a special place for both locals and visitors. The stunning rock formations provide a sheltered place for caravanners, with the scattered piles of golden granite boulders formed around 2.5 billion years ago. It is also a place of strong cultural significance.
Pamela, when did you first learn about Peace Gorge?
Maybe when I was a kid.
What's one of your fondest memories from spending time here?
Kids loved it. I mean, you still walk around here, you'll find a strange plant with a strange flower on it, but it's pretty. Because I've had a few ask me at the caravan park, what's Peace Gorge like? I can tell you it's nice out there, but that's all. But you've got to go out and find out for yourself. It's the freedom. It's just freedom out here. That's all it is.
Time to hit the dirt road out of Meeka, and we're into station country. Just over 60 k's southeast, and we arrive at Yarrabubba Station, 116 hectares of cattle country and owned by the Howden family since 1989. Yarrabubba Station. It is also the site of a significant event which happened quite a few years ago now. Balangi Rock, which is just a short drive from here, is the site of one of Australia's 27 meteorite craters, which slammed into Earth over 2 billion years ago. Globally, around 200 major meteorite impacts have been documented, and Balangi on Yarrabubba Station is the oldest at 2.65 billion years old. The initial result of this meteorite crashing to Earth left a 70-kilometre hole. However, today there is little left of its impact. Yarrabubba holds the eroded remnants of a crater that was first described in 2003, based on minerals at the site that showed unique signs of impact. The word is, The meteor was 7 kilometres wide, hurtling to Earth at tens of kilometres per second. The following devastation is believed to have formed a 70-kilometre wide crater that occurred in a matter of seconds. It would have had a profound global effect. More intriguing, the geological record shows the Earth was covered in ice before the time of impact, and afterwards, the ice disappeared. Which leads me into the question, was the Yarra Bubba impact a trigger for global climate change? As you take in the view from the summit of Balangi Rock, it is mind-boggling to think that the Yarra Bubba crater once stretched out as far as the eye can see in every direction. Now, over 2 billion years later, Balangi Rock remains as a serene monument to this catastrophic event.
We've been on the road for a week and yes, we've clocked up a lot of Ks, but we've still only scratched the surface. And what a great spot to wrap up our road trip, Meekatharra. Proud history, and for the visitor, certainly worth staying a few days.
Beautiful day.